We're going to get it going, if you guys don't mind, so we're not here forever, okay? This class is going to be as short or as long as you need it to be. How's that? All right, you know how I operate here. This is a collective conversation. This isn't a dictation to me up here at the podium. I'm only have the podium because my feet are starting to bother me. It's not because I want to be up here like hammering the podium. All right, so we're going to make this a conversation. Yes?
Yes. Stop.
Okay. Does everyone have their 135 and 411 blank sheets? Yes. Okay. You need to grab a 135 and a 411. Yeah. Here you go. That's for you. Robert, you need the 135 411, and Chris, you need a 411. All right, they're for you, and then Chris, it's you need the 411. There you go. Okay. Oh, you dropped one, Robert. All right, so who in this room has their 2026 business plan ready to go besides Amy Galligan? Because I know she's got it. So October is the month for business planning. Why do we business plan in October? Because the business we're doing right now is going to show up in January, right? So that's why we business plan in October. We don't wait for January. We get our shit together before we hit the year, all right? It's getting loose. We're getting loose now. There might be some cursing. We'll see. It's business planning. You know, you got to make it fun somehow. All right. Oh, Jesus, already. Nothing works. Pauline walks out. I can't function anything. All right. I have to put up these notices. Just, we're not going to read through them, but it basically tells you to call everybody in a TCPA friendly way. And also these materials may contain hypothetical examples. It is no dictation on any kind of standard compensation that's offered. Okay. So let's just be clear there. So I hit all of the legal parts, legal, negotiate commissions. Commissions are not set by law or practice and are fully negotiable. Okay, there you go. Copyright. Business planning clinic. So today we're going to get started, and the goals of this course here today are we're looking to understand the power of the 5 fundamental models on how to run your business. We're going to create a business plan, and then you're going to go and execute your plan. Does that sound like something that you guys need? Yes. Okay. Thank you. So models and mindset. We always talk about models. Models first, creativity second. Models first, creativity second. That creates a stable foundation. When you start with creativity because you want to reinvent the wheel, because this is boring, because you don't want to do it this way, I don't want to track my numbers, I want to just go by the seat of my pants, you're running an unstable business, okay? I can tell you that any business that's major, like you look at a Nike and Adidas or whatever, anything that's a big corporation, they most certainly are running their business on models. You may say, well, I'm just a small business owner. Right, but your goal is to keep being in business, right? It's not to not be in business. So you need to know what your numbers are, and that's the boring part of it all. Once you get that, then you could start getting a little creative with how you're personally doing business and where your strengths are. Like, for example, Sweet Mary Mahoney, she just did a nice field trip with Kristen, right, that put together for sheriff sales. Mary created a beautiful business doing that, but she started with models, hopefully. And if she didn't, we'll get those in order too. But what I'm saying is it doesn't prohibit you from going and chasing the business that you want to run. It's just, let's start here with these basics. Is that all right? Yes. It's okay, Caryn. We love this graph. All right. So this is stuff that we've all seen. So your natural ability, Marika, you want to grab a 411 and a 135? Oh, geez. Oh, man. All right, take your time. And then up front, hold on, gang, on Zoom. We have a food emergency. Send Daisy back there. Yeah, you know. So everybody in this room has a natural ability, right? Everybody has a natural ability that they rely on. And that's what we call your natural achievement ceiling. You're going to hit that ceiling of what you can do just on your own. And then you're going to have to bounce down. You're going to have to get some foundational models in order to get you to that next level. Do you understand that? You guys all come with something really special, but it really gets you only so far. Then you got to implement the foundational models, which creates a breakthrough. Then you could add a little bit of creativity into your model. See what's sticking, what's not sticking, what's working for me, what's not working for me. Be a little creative with it, come down, improve your models. That will lead to your next breakthrough and your next new achievement ceiling. That's how you're moving yourself forward, okay? Understand. So we're gonna think like a millionaire real estate agent. In order to be that, we need to actually think that way about ourselves and how we're running our business. Do you think you're a millionaire real estate agent, Chantal? No. You don't think powered by a big why? You don't think big goals and big models? You think value and customer service and experience. You already think like a millionaire real estate agent. You think competitively and strategically? We all do in this room. I know you do. We think action, and here's the one that nobody likes, accountability. If you don't like it, too bad. You're accountable not only to yourself, but you're accountable to your clients too. You're accountable to people that rely on you in life. You think talent, you think systems, you think standards, knowledge and skills, persistence and resilience, and then you think profit. That's how you run a millionaire real estate business. Yeah.
We just touched on the previous slide.
This one here?
The 4. I completely agree with that. Nope, that's on number 4. The breakthrough. Yep, there we go. Number 4. So think competitively and strategically. In the previous, presentation that you gave.
Yes.
We talk about the trust, empowerment, and the referrals. Maybe I'm like a second number 2 guy, like having to kind of think about the idea and then we kind of do whatever.
Right.
The competitively and strategic. How do we, in my mindset, yet has wrapped around how we work individually? Because I think this is a great team. I really do. And you as a team lead and everybody on the team. But was that?
Well, we get in there.
But like competitively and strategically, those words mean we also compete against each other.
Yes, it is. But here's the deal. This is what makes it different. And this is what makes our company, this isn't a sales pitch, but it really is what makes us different. Yes, we are all business owners here in this room. We all do tend to overlap our businesses, right? But you may be able to offer someone something I can't. And that's your competitive edge. So you need to lean into that strategically and hone in on what your strengths are that sets you apart from the rest of the pack. Okay? Now, how you do that is, guess what? This is the crazy shit, is you actually rely on each other to get there. And that's the wild part of the thinking is, yes, I could go into, it's an individual effort. You may go on a listing appointment and you may get it over me. I'm not for everybody. I'm for a lot of people, but I'm not for everybody. You may connect with somebody at a better level than I could because you have maybe an analytical brain. Robert does. I'll use him for an example. Robert is very data driven, right? That's fair to say. Robert likes to talk about a lot about numbers. His clientele like to see those kind of statistics and analytics. That is not my strong suit at all. I could sell your house and service you as a client better than anybody in this room. But I may not even get that far because his strength is speaking and resonating with that client more, right?
And conversely, I don't resonate with everyone. People want me to shut down. Look, I don't-
Right. Right. Leaning into who you are and the kind of business that you're trying to run. Because if you're not thinking strategically, to me, you're scattered. You're scattered. Marika. Unique ability.
Certain, communities, like I know absolutely everything about this development, that development, whatever it is. There's just gaining the thought process on that and then how are you competitive against it. And I just wanted to note the conversation of competitiveness. You're coming into real estate and you're coming into it at PW, which means you didn't even realize that this is overly competitive.
Right.
Because we're such a good player.
Yeah.
Other offices don't have that. You would have absolutely known that you were in direct competition with everybody else.
Second you walked in the door.
They're not.
And this is what I like to say is I'm not competing against any of you guys. I'm competing against myself and what I did and what my goals are. So to me, you could go out, you could sell $100 million a year. That's not my model. That's not the business that I'm currently running. So for me to think competitively and strategically and knowing where I'm looking to go and where I'm looking to grow my business, that gives me the competitive advantage for somebody that is just scattered out there in the world and is just picking up crumbs. Because that's all you're doing. You're picking up crumbs, right? You're a VP. You said you're coming with a creative mindset, right? You're the idea guy. Get some ideas on your business. Because now it's yours. You're not running someone else's. You're creating and crafting your own. How do you want that to be? I don't know. Sometimes it shakes itself out. Like for me personally, I started out in interior architecture. I used to design homes for a living, right? During the height of the building boom. Well, the building boom came with the building crash. So my business model pivoted from designing $100 million homes to selling foreclosures that were $30,000 to $40,000. I pivoted and created an entire business on that. But that was just based off of what I look to do in my life, and my goals are to leave things better than I found them. So to me, revitalizing neighborhoods, revitalizing distressed properties, being able to come with that construction knowledge and advise investors on what needs to happen, that was my lane. Where's yours? And I lean into that. Allie leans into service, right? With buyers. Allie was a buyer's agent for a very long time. Chantel as well came with a lot of chops on how to represent those buyers through a transaction very successfully, right? I'm sure that adds to your value, right? What's your value? What gets you excited?
Anything foreclosure, sales,
right? Yeah.
It's true.
People. And one of the funniest conversations with her is when she came back into real estate. Licensed test for a while, and we came back in, we lived near each other. We said, I live down the street, anybody who's in front of me.
Get out of my neighborhood. Yeah.
Everybody has a thing, I love working with seniors.
Yeah.
It's a stake, I love it, that's a fun thing for me. It's not all of it, but I can do it. So you gotta pick something that, you kind of like, and then especially when you're new, because it's an open space.
There's a lot everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like Cassie hates to use the word overwhelmed, but it's not so much overwhelmed. Which angle do you want to take? Is there every day I learn another angle? I go, I want that. No.
Well, that's the kicker.
Yeah.
I mean, I was short sale resource realtor as well. I mean, during that market of short sales, my goal is to assist as many people as possible without them damaging their future credit, their future wealth. How do I help these people that are distressed? See, to me, it has to be personal for it to be rewarding. Not everybody's like that. And I understand that and I recognize that. But for me, that's what made the selling 100 homes a year with me and my admin and a cyberbacker. That's what kept me going. There was a reward there for me, and that was my success through others. So once you get your lean into it. The dirtier, the better of the listings. Kristen will tell you, I sold some real winners out there. I have sold everything under the sun, from mushrooms growing out of fireplaces. I called it a water feature. I was a creative marketer. Oh, I had a house on the highway. It had beautiful it had beautiful highway access. Yeah, but that was where I like to get in the nitty gritty of it, get in the crawl spaces, see what could be done, and paint the vision for somebody on here's a path to home ownership that you may not have had because of the pricing. So that was, for me, that was my why. You got to find yours, and the world's your oyster here. So you got to think, here we go. Look at this. Think powered by your big why. I told you what mine is. So think about yours and then lean into that. Think big goals and big models. Set your 1-year net income goal based off your someday goal. Don't sit here and tell me you want to make $60,000 a year. Tell me you want to make $120,000 a year. Tell me you want to make $150,000 a year. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And you're going to say, Jesus, that's not as much work as I thought it was going to be. Right? If you set your goals low, you're only going to perform to that standard. If you set them higher, you're going to chase that with as much as you got. Right? If you hit a goal of making $30,000 a year, you're going to hit it and you're going to say, all right, I'm done now. Right? Think action and accountability. Set up your systems for accountability. Nobody runs a business without like-minded people around them that they can be held accountable to, right? When you're left to your own devices, that's dangerous, because I don't know a lot of people that are disciplined enough to say, I'm going to make my 20 contacts every single day and nobody needs to check in on me on that, right? Some people need a partner. Some people need a group. Some people need certain things in order to do that activity. And that's okay. But know that about yourself and then go do that thing, right? Accountability is huge at any level that you're at. You want to talk about CEO, you want to talk about CFO, you want to talk, they're responsible and accountable to shareholders. They're accountable for people's lives, for businesses employees that work for them, right? So there's accountability everywhere. So what we're going to start out with, and some of you have it, some of you don't, is your 411, your action goal worksheet. So your annual goals for the year, your 411, this is a model that not only are you guys using, but as a market center, we have to submit our 411s, our 135s, our GPS to the region and to Keller Williams International. We just put that out for 2026. So we do this too. It's not like you do it and we're not doing that. We all do it. So your 411, it's your annual goals. Then you're going to break it into the month of January, per se. Then you're going to bang it out every single week. You're going to put what you need to do every week to hit that monthly goal, to hit your annual goal. Does that make sense? You're going to have 12 of these, like one for each month. Mark, do you utilize the 411? Sure you do.
Either Saturday or Sunday, fill out monthly goals. So, yeah, last weekend I started to fill out for October, and then I just based it off of my goals. So it's kind of like a person stamp. So
Okay.
I see what I want to do for the year 2025, and then I'm like, okay, how does that align with what I want to do for the month? And then I fill it out.
Now, Mark, I'm not throwing you under the bus, but I'm gonna just say this and highlight this. Your business has grown exponentially over the past 12 months. Is that fair to say? Do you think it's because you had clarity around what you need to do? Right. Because if you're just going out there, and this isn't the sexy part, none of this is the fun part. None of this is, some people love it, some people do. But it's like this, I just want to sell houses. I hear you. Then I get it. I really do. But you're running a business. Here we're providing the platform for business owners. So this is how you run a business. You need a goal. Put it down. Let's do your goal. Let's start out an annual goal for 2026. Let's start them on our 411. Who needs to come in here? Albrightsville. They're late. They're late on it. They're out. They're in. All right. So our 411, we could take it and we can look at our annual goal, put that in there. Whether it's monetary, whether it's I want to lose 20 pounds. You don't just lose 20 pounds and wake up the next day you lose it. You need to do something consistently every single week in order to hit that goal. So it doesn't need to necessarily be straight business, but put your goals for the year. I want to buy an investment property. I want to do this, whatever it is, that goes there at the top. Then we take it, we chunk it down into what do you need to do monthly? And then what do I need to do every single week in order to hit that? Easy peasy, right? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Caryn. So let's start it out. Let's write down some annual goals. And then we're going to start talking about the foundation model of the MREA. So all of this, as we know, comes from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book written by Gary Keller. If you don't believe in the book, I could point to Amy Galligan. Amy, I'm not throwing you under the bus, but let's be honest here. You run the models. You run the book, the Red Bible, you run it on your team. Is it fair to say that you are a millionaire real estate agent? Correct. So Amy and her team embodies what we're talking about here because they have clarity around all of this. Now, in a team structure, your team also knows what those goals are. They're expressed explicitly, and everyone has their own standards and metrics that they need to hit.
Yes, and then the team goal is built on their goal. We need to do it the opposite way, which was
Okay.
building your business plan, where it was, well, we would like to close 200 units, whatever, and it was just like, okay, you 6 people have to do it, and it was like, okay. Where now it is what is each agent's individual goal, and then we add it up, and that becomes team goals. So sometimes it's 200, sometimes it's 150, sometimes it's 250, and then we just push them to do that. Sometimes it works, sometimes they go, you know what, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So it just is what it is. If you tell me you want to close 40, we're gonna do everything in our power, like you do here. We'll do everything in our power to get you to hit 40. It's gonna be uncomfortable. Don't yell at me. You're the one who said you want to do 40.
See, I think that's smart. That's super smart. As a team leader of a team, is it taking everybody's individual personal goals and helping them hit that, whatever that is, and then developing your team around what their goals and their strong suits are, because you can't have somebody bought into your dream unless they're running their own, right?
They care about them. And that's the beauty of the team, is that they join the team to hit their goal without having to do all the management of
The day to day. So they don't want to manage the process or the systems or anything, right? They want to do those things, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. The world needs all of these people in order for it to function.
and those people, you need we have basically team goes under that number and
Yeah.
still need to so you still so that you know if you're short.
Well, don't you dare jump ahead on the P&L side. We're going to get there now. Everybody's mad. I know. Everybody's like, oh shit, a P&L. Just hold tight. All right. what we need to work on first, the 3 L's, leads, listing, and leverage. That's how we operate. If you don't have any leads, you don't have any listings, and you sure as hell don't need any leverage because you're not doing nothing. Right? So your job is a lead hunter. That's it. Right? If that, like, that's your only focus. That's it. Until you have these, you don't get nothing else. You got to build on that.
I
Kristen.
just find it interesting what you said is lead hunter. In other words, you're hunting for that. as
That's
opposed to
right.
the ones that text you every day and say, oh, you know, for $1,000 a month, you can have this.
You don't need to, what you are is you are the hunter or the motivated. That's your job. Hunt out and suss out the motivated people out there that are looking to buy or sell. You don't need to buy shit back from anybody else that's trying to sell you their leads because they're running a platform consistently that's getting your business. When are you going to start running the platform that's going to keep your business? Oh, I don't know. Is that why we do smart plans? Is that why we do all this stuff for you guys to do touches? And we'll talk about that later, right? Mark's like, I hear you, Caryn. I'm running campaigns. I got this stuff. And that's why your business is probably tripled, I could say, in 12 months. Tremendous. So get the leads. You're the lead hunter. Until you have leads, nothing else matters. Why do we tell you to go after the listings? And for the buyer's agents in the room, nobody's knocking anything. We need buyer's agents. I started as a buyer's agent. You know, everybody has their own skill set. But in order for us to keep buyer's agents fed, we need listings. Because when you list a house, guess who calls you? The buyer or the neighbors, if you're marketing right, because now they want to list, or now they know somebody else that wants to list, or their buddy Sally Jones I want Sally to live next to me. Could you let me know when the house is coming on the market? Teresa, you've seen it. We've been out. You've seen people, neighbors come right up. Hey, what's going on? My parents want to buy this house, right? If you don't have the listings, then you can't really get your time back as much as if you're working with the buyers only. Buyers tend to dictate your schedule a little bit more than the listing side. That's the kicker, right? Unless it's foreclosure, then the bank dictates all your time. All right, so there's 5 fundamental models, and I know I'm not going to hit every single one of these. We're gonna get through them though. Like we'll get through the meat of what you need to know, and then the rest. You guys all have a red book. You could read it. How about that? Or you'll get the slideshow and you can look at it. Economic model is to achieve the amount of net income you desire. Okay, these all work together in conjunction with each other. So most people are in business and they say, I want to make X amount of money this year, or I need to make this to run my business. Some people like to say, I want to help 24 people this year. I want to help 50 agents or 50 clients this year. Or how about this? I want to contribute X amount of money every single month to some of my causes that are really important to me. I'm financially secure, I'm stable. Maybe I don't really need the money, but it's important to me to be able to support these causes, right? No matter what it is, you need to focus on money. And like, let's talk about it. There's nothing wrong. You're not greedy. It's not anything. People operate to make profit. No one's here just because they want to volunteer their time. I love you, but I'm getting paid to be here. You know, I mean, just like you want to get paid to work in your business. Lead generation model. Where does your money come from? You need to generate X amount of leads. Well, how do you know how many leads you need to generate? We're going to go through it. I'm going to show you what you need to do. Really water this down for you. Budget model. Now, Amy would probably run a budget model, right? I need to spend X amount of money in these specific areas to support my business. So maybe I need to start budgeting out to hire a full-time admin. Now I need to make sure I have that budgeted. Maybe That's $20. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe I need to set aside X amount of money for whatever, but I'm running a budget model. Organizational model is how many people do I need to service this business, and we'll look at that. Who your hires are, when to hire. And then the expansion model, when to expand. Well, Karen, what are we talking about? Well, you're licensed in Pennsylvania. You could sell anywhere in Pennsylvania. You could have teams anywhere in Pennsylvania. Some of you people are licensed in other states too. Some of you are licensed in Florida. Some of you are licensed in New York. Some of you are licensed in New Jersey. Great. Go build a business there too. Let's show you how to do it. Any ahas from this section? That slide was there, I didn't add it. All right, let's go into the economic model, because this is the one that everybody tends to like a lot because it talks about what we need to do. So the economic model, performance, investments, outcome. The investment's going to be your time, cost of sale, operating expenses. Performance is your behavior, your skill level, your ability, the resources you have, leads, appointments, talent, systems, tools. And the outcome is when these two things intersect, which equals your gross commission income and then your net income. Okay? All right, well, that was great seeing you, Robin. Thanks for coming in. I like your sweater too, by the way. So the elements of the economic model are 30, 30, 40. If you just look at it like this, a 30, 30, 40 is, I'm not going to spend more than 30% on my operating expenses. I'm not going to spend more than 30% on my cost of sale, and that's going to equal 40% in my pocket. Ooh, yikes, that's a lot of money out the door. Guess what? You got to reinvest in your business in order to run a business. I'm sorry, you got to spend money to make money in some cases. I want to go through, let me pull up this guy here. Hold on Zoom world, I'm going to come back here. Let's stop sharing that. What I did here, oh, I got to reshare, hold on. Oh man, where's Colleen? Hold on, coming back. Where's this?
Down.
At the bottom?
Green.
Oh, there we are.
To the left.
To the left?
Yeah.
There we are. Jeez Louise. See, that's why I have leverage. That's right. All right, so here is, I'm going to give this to all you guys too. You're going to get this one. I love this and I think it works out really nicely. This is the economic model of how to run your business. Okay? So let's talk about just some numbers. We're going to start throwing around, and then I want you guys to make some notes on this stuff so you know what goes where. So let's talk about total net income. Give me a number. What do you guys want to make this year or in 2026? 150. Okay. In order for you to make 150, you need to know a couple of things. What are your expenses? Now, there's two different categories, expenses and cost of sale. I want to be really clear on what these two things are. Expenses are something that you're going to pay every single month, regardless of whether or not you have business. So that's going to be your $100 office bill. That's going to be your E&O insurance. That's going to be any salaries that you're paying, any rents you're paying. That's going to be something that it's a nut that I need to pay every single month, no matter if I sell anything or not. Okay. Cost of sale is going to be, what is this actual sale? What do I pay to that? So that's going to be your cap. That's going to be your royalty. That's going to be, maybe you pay for a photographer. Maybe you pay for a transaction coordinator. Maybe you do what, maybe you pay for a referral service where you're paying lead money out for leads that when they close, right? That's going to be a cost of sale. You don't have to pay that unless a transaction happens, right? So in order for you to net 150, what would your expenses look like? Do you have your expenses? Does everybody here track their expenses? Okay, so the goal, you want to open up the window, Mary? Can we crack one of those, Amy? Yeah, I get a little hot myself. It's a little steamy. Yeah, lacrosse the breeze out. So expenses, why don't we put in something like a little bit more limited this time? Let's put in, maybe for expenses, I might spend $3,000 because I'm going to look at your PMAR dues, your NAR dues, then you have your monthly bill and your E&O insurance. Let's put like 3,500 in for expenses. We're not going to look at anybody here that has salaries to pay or whatever. About 3,500 just for expense purposes. Yeah, that's per year. I mean, I'm not saying that, I'm just using. Oh, Amy, we're over here on a net of 150. So that's not, I'm not talking about people that are paying salaries or rents or anything like that. So expenses, let's just figure bare bones. Kristen, what are your expenses? You don't pay for anything.
AW, there's my constant contact subscription service, my Adobe and public. Mine is probably under $1,000.
Annually.
Use that, yeah.
Annually.
Hold on a penny.
$1,000 a month?
Oh, no. No.
All right, I'm leaving 3,500 in. All right, it's cost of sale. Cost of sale is going to be your cap. That's not right, Chantal? Plus the insurance. Yeah, I wasn't running a real lean and like I'm a newer agent and just getting going. Like you don't have many expenses. You have your dues, you have your monthly office. So for the sake NAR, the MLS, if you want, I'll put in $5,000. Does that make everybody feel better? We're talking annually, $5,000. I'm going to leave it at this because I'm going to tell you, it's not going to make much of a difference. It's really not. Cost of sales. So that's going to be your royalty. That's going to be your cap. So your royalty in your cap is with standard 21,000. Then your royalty is going to be the 3. So 24. But I want to talk about any additional costs of sale that you guys may have. Do you pay for photographers? Are you reimbursed? No. Some of you are, some of you aren't. Let's put in realistically, if maybe you had to buy a refrigerator, right? You screwed up. You screwed up something, you had to pump out a septic. How many of us had to do that? I'm just saying cost of sale, you have your transaction fee, you have whatever. I'm going to put in $30,000 there. Okay. Just to do that. So in order for you to net 150, you need to make 185. But we also need to know what your average. Whoa. Jesus. It's bread day. We can't buy any bread until we know what's what. So you got nothing left. You're going to see what's happening. This is going to be great. Your average commission amount. What's your average commission? Maybe 6 or 7? 62.50 over there. So 9.
Sales price is $350. Make it 3%. That's over 9.
All right, I'm going to use 7,500 because maybe there's some outliers in there that are cheaper. Let's just say, because I want to make it conservatively where we're going to do a certain amount of stuff. So you need to sell 24, 25 units for the year. That's 2 a month. Right. So watch. We're going to go down here. Because watch how I'm going to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Caryn said she would send
She's
it
gonna
out.
send it.
But you can find them through the website also. You can look under course materials for business plan, just go business plan.
Yeah, we're going to.
Business planning toolkit.
Yeah, business planning toolkit. But in the recap, we're going to send this out to the whole office. You're going to get the slideshow and I'm going to give you this little worksheet because I think everybody should have this and kind of play around with it because it'll auto populate all this stuff and you could like play around with your commission amount, make a copy, save it, save as or whatever. But this also has a budget model, full chart of accounts, summary P&L. There's all different things for you guys to do in this worksheet. So I'll give it to you. But yeah, you could play around with it every single month. So this is what you need to know. Are you listing heavy or are you buyer heavy? Are you half and half? Does half of my business come from buyers? Half of it come from sellers? We'll leave it like this for now and like a half-half kind of situation just for the point of this demonstration, okay? So this is the goofy one. Watch how I'm going to ask this question. So sellers make up half of my business. So that means I got to round up because 0.3 is not a seller. So I have 13 sellers I need for the year. So out of the listings you put on the market, how many of those don't sell? Sometimes in different markets, we had outliers where maybe we weren't selling 25% of our inventory. They were withdrawing, they were expiring, they were just not selling, they were whatever. So would you say in this kind of market, it's fair to say that out of all the homes that you put on, about 90% are selling? Yeah, I like to leave a little bit of I know some people have 100% conversion ratios right now with what they're putting on, but there always might be that one or two that might fall off. So let's just make it conservative and we'll say, you know what, 90% of my stuff that I put on the market goes to closing. So how many listing appointments do you go on that you get? What is your appointment conversion ratio? See, that's something you need to be tracking. I track it. The region tracks it for me. Keller Williams International tracks it for me. I need to go on X amount of appointments in order to secure this. What's yours? Do you get 90% of your listings? Do you get 70% of the appointments you go on? What's the number? Do you know the number?
Be honest with the numbers.
You got to be honest with this number. And that's all right, because this is all based off of where maybe are some gaps and what do we need to work on in order to get that conversion ratio a little bit higher. But say, for example, 75%, what we could say is a good number. Maybe you go on 4 appointments, maybe you don't get one. Does that sound fair? I mean, not for Mary. Mary's going and having them sign. She's 100%. One and done. But let's just say, so ultimately, and the reason why I'm doing it like this is because it's so watered down that this is absolutely ridiculous. So you need ultimately 19 seller appointments throughout the entire year. It means you need 2 a month. There's 4 weeks in a month. You have a 4-1-1. You need 2 seller appointments in order to hit that goal. Is that hard?
It's challenge. It can be challenging.
Okay.
Right? It's not that it's not. I think it's simple, but it can be difficult.
I'm not discounting that.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not hard. It's not unattainable.
It's not unattainable. This is my goal. So you ultimately could hit this 150 very easily, right? Because you're going to come into work and you know that you need a seller appointment. You need 2 this month. That's it. The buyer side might look a little bit different. So let's go there. Your job is to find the leads. Where is it?
Click that.
Right. So we did 50% of buyers. So how about this? Now that this is gonna be why. When you have a buyer's agency agreement with your buyer, how many of those buyers buy and how many fall off a cliff? That's gonna be a little bit different than the seller, I think. Okay, because sometimes our buyers are making offers and then they're going away because they didn't get the house, or no, I need to save up some more money, or I'm getting afraid, or something. Okay, so is it fair to say that maybe you close 70% of the buyers that you have a buyer agency with, that you have a buyer agency with, not like you're fully committed with contracts. It's about 70% will buy throughout the year. 30 will fall off. Was that fair?
It's been a little rough.
A little bit lower than that.
A little lower than that, yeah.
Maybe, on that.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's go with 60.
Let's go conservative. So how about this? When you,
And with this NAR thing, like, the other thing too is I would encourage people, when you look at this, what do you consider an appointment? And a real buyer agency, just because sometimes with this law, we're all trying to get people in.
right,
Not every single buyer, sometimes they sign it and then they just disappear, so I would encourage you to really set up the buyer agency appointment and.
that's where we're
really
going
consider-
next, Sally.
Yeah.
Beautiful segue right into that.
But you know what, it's true, because.
I know.
They are, before you.
Right.
And
But
you didn't consider them a buyer.
So you want to talk about appointment conversion ratio. This is what I'm talking about now, is how many buyers reach out to you and how many don't sign a buyer agency? What?
Yeah, they have.
I'm saying they don't sign with you. They sign with somebody else. So how many that you get in a buyer agency conversation are not signing with you?
Maybe.
It's signing.
Right.
But that's what they define what you
I consider when you're going to sit down and you're going to actually do a buyer appointment and you're going to fully service these buyers and say, here's how this looks moving forward. This is what it looks like, how I'm going to be your agent. 100% you're signing with me. Great. Let's put it down. You have a 100% conversion ratio. Now, I'm not saying I understand there's tire kickers and there's the people that come online and they want to inquire about the house and they want to do whatever. I'm not talking about those people. Those aren't appointments. So you need 25 buyer appointments throughout the year. So that means you need two, let's just say 2 and 2. You need 2 buyers and you need 2 sellers every month. Does that seem attainable to everybody? There's 4 weeks out of the month. So if we could even chunk it down to how many conversations do you need to have in order to get those? But what you need to be tracking is your conversion ratio, right? That's important because that's you. That nobody else is going to be able to give that to you. Only you. Like Roro might get 100% of the time. Like if I'm going on a listing appointment, I'm getting it. I'm getting the listing. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. A crime might have to be committed. No, I'm just kidding. This isn't being recorded. I read my name really big across their car. No, I'm just saying, so you have 4 weeks out of the month. Your job is to find one of these every single week, a buyer or a seller.
This is for 150,000.
That's for you to net $150,000. So there you go. This was our average commission of $7,500 that we used. But if you wanted to bump this up to people, like maybe you're in a luxury market, maybe you sell luxury. If you want to move this up to 9, we could run the numbers. We could bump it up to 10. It's going to be less. It's going to be 1 and 1. You're going to need 1 buyer and 1 seller if you start bumping up that commission. That's why I like to give you this spreadsheet, because you could work with it as you're going through the year and say, oh, okay, my price point might be lower. For me, I was a volume realtor. My price point was lower. It was foreclosure. So I worked in volume. You don't need to do that. You could work smarter and say, all right, here's my deal. I need 1 appointment. My job this week is to get 1 appointment. What does today look like?
You can repeat the question. That's really not immediate. What you said, it's doable, very doable, but it's not easy. So hypothetically, $150,000, talking $7,000 commission.
7,500 commission.
7,500 based on those numbers. If my goal for the next year would be to get 1.5 seller appointments per month and 2.1 buyer appointments per month, I could think of my goal being 150,000.
Yes. Net.
Net.
was that based on? Somebody asked if that was based on 350 average sale price. This number of 7,500 is a $250,000.
Yeah.
If that's your average sale price, we're working with your average commission.
So watch. I mean, I could move this up. I could move this up to 9,000.
About 2.5.
What is happening here with all of this? What is this? So there. If you make it $9,000, you need 21 deals, not 20.6. So you need 1.3 seller appointments and you need 1.7 buyer appointments. You need 2 and 2 again, or 2 and 1. If it's making that $9,000 number, yeah, is that better? You want to adjust down? Rock on. We could adjust, look, we could adjust down, we could adjust to 5,000. No, I hear you, but it's good to just have an awareness on it. So what does it look like? I need 3 buyer appointments and 3 seller appointments.
That drops the total gross income down to
It's the same, it's just that.
It's the same, but
Everything's the same, but showing how many appointments.
yeah, because I changed the commission. The average commission maybe for this agent's $5,000, and that's what it looks like for them. Okay, so you could play around in this worksheet. So this makes sense, right? But you need to know what your expenses are. You need to know how much money that you need to make. Like I need to make this amount of money. Right. Okay. So when we're doing business planning, Allie brought this to our attention. Everybody here has a different anniversary date. Okay. When your cap starts. So Allie starts in October, right? So Allie's going to business plan for October because that's her year. My anniversary is in November. I would business plan from November on. Okay. Because that's my year. So don't take it as the calendar year. Look at it as your cap date because that's when your expenses and your cost of sale, they'll get wonky if you don't use your cap date. Now, I would challenge you to say, this is based off of a 12-month year. I don't like that because you need to go on vacation. You need to live your life. Maybe you have kids that want to do something and whatever. I like to business plan for 11 months. So you have 1 month of full freedom and flexibility to do what you want to do. So that would look a little bit different. I know I need to boogie for a couple months and make it look a little bit different if I'm going to I need to make up that, 2 and that 3 in another month. Okay. Makes sense? Anything else anybody wants to cover here? What's that, Robert?
I think that, yeah, it's great to plan for 11 months, but if you're legitimately going to spend a couple of weeks down and not regenerating your stuff, you might want to actually plan on 10 months. Because once you fall behind, it takes a while to catch up and spend money again.
It does. I like to leave a little buffer in there just because, I know in my own peace of mind that when I hit these things that I'm ahead of the game. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I have some breathing room. I'm not saying the wheels behind the scenes are stopping. I'm saying maybe I'm just not hustling as much. Maybe I have a team, maybe people else are going out with buyers or doing listing appointments or whatever, right? So that's the economic model that you guys will all get. And I just want you to be clear with just your conversion ratios. Just pay attention to them and don't lie.
We're gonna change your appointments.
And sold conversion ratio on the, well, if I did,
Oh, the appointment conversion rate. That's gonna change how many appointments. In order to close.
yeah.
Because per month doesn't change.
So let's say you had a half, you would need 4 appointments a month. If your average commission was $5,000, which we've established that it's not, we're going to just do 7,500. But let's just say your appointment conversion ratio was half, then you'd need 2.3 or 3. Okay?
They figure in taxes and things, so, depending on you take up your average commission.
Nobody talks about taxes here. No, I'm just kidding. Your taxes are gonna be, you're gonna take your tax to your accountant, your CPA, but I would take it off of what I'm bringing in. I would put away 30% in a savings for taxes. So that's gonna be what, off the top. I'm not including that in here. Budget model may take that into consideration, Chantel, but we're on the economic model.
It's in there.
This has absolutely everything in the budget model. So this has your listing income, sales income, new construction, referral, transaction administration fee. If you're charging a transaction fee on top, you could add that in. This takes into account commissions paid out to other offices, brokerages, splits, bonuses, referrals, expenses, salaries, labor, benefits, payroll, taxes, etc. That's all in here if you're running the budget model. Okay?
I think in the economic model too, you have sales.
You've cost to sale. You could put the taxes in there if you want. Yeah, if you wanted to. Below the line, interest income, profit share, any kind of, pre-tax expenses there. But I'm going to give this to you too. So you'll have the budget model. So you'll be able to put in there all of this stuff and just keep track of it, because you need to keep track of your numbers, right? Are we all doing this?
Much simpler.
Okay.
It doesn't matter, like the way I did it, it doesn't matter if I have a spreadsheet with all my expenses and my business and everything. So I just put expenses this much. Instead of breaking it down. Exactly. Break it. Well, because it's the same numbers. It's just like this is, I have my business expenses, my household expenses. To get understand how much I have to pay.
If you look at the office, right, the office has to submit their P&L every single month to everybody. It looks exactly like a lot of this. Like a lot of these line items look exactly the same regarding, telephone services, utilities, repair, maintenance, etc. And there you go. It just auto fills and populates. This one isn't an exciting one for you, but then you get like a summary P&L. So you guys will get all this and play around with it on what works for your business. Okay? Sound good? Okay. Oh boy, I'm gonna get back to, where am I? Oh, there I am. What am I trying to show?
You gotta share, I think.
Oh, Jesus, I lost the thing. Yeah, but you know what I did? I closed the window. Oh, boy. Oh, geez. And that's that. No, I'm just kidding. Hold on.
Oh, you know.
Yes, sir.
If you hover your mouse over the folder icon, it should have the recent documents history.
Okay.
Should be,
Here?
yeah, and wait for it to pop. And then, of course,
On the bottom.
the last.
The bottom.
These aren't any of mine. Oh, here we go. Yay, we're back up. Good job, everybody. Good job. Zoom people are still on. Here we go, guys. We're coming back in. Oh, man.
Is that a question to them or a statement?
I gotta start.
There it is.
There it is. All right. Now, how do we start this thing? How do I start it?
You have to stop sharing.
Man,
Yeah. Yeah, just stop sharing.
Stop sharing.
all right, good. We're back in action. Does anybody need to take a little quick break? Yes, no. All right, here's conversion rates that we just talked about. We did the economic model. This is all of, in order to become a millionaire. That's what it says there. Here's some examples that you'll get with different price points. So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the lead generation model. Okay, so there's two different things, prospecting based, marketing enhanced. Prospecting is immediate results, you're being proactive, and it's time intensive. Marketing is passive, it shows you the long-term results, and it's money. It's driven by money intensive, right? So our marketing efforts may cost us some more money. Our prospecting efforts may cost us some more time. Is that understandable to everybody? So the rule of 4, okay? 82% of your business will come from 4 different sources. Database, we talk about it all the time. Database +1, database +2, database +3. These are the rule of 4. So you're going to want to start small and focus on your database. And if you don't have a big one, then go get a big one. Well, and how do you do that? You go meet some people and you go talk to people. You go get out there. So maybe you get out there, you get a database. Maybe then I want to convert into my business. 20% comes from referrals. Let's say that. Now I want to focus on my referral portion of my business. How do I do that? Well, how are you treating the agents that are referring business to you? Are you making it a top-notch A+ experience for them? I started sending out, when anybody referred anybody to me, I would send them a thank you card with a $5 Dunkin' Donuts, go get a cup of coffee on me, thanks. Whether or not the buyer, seller ever did anything. And why I started doing that is because somebody did that for me once. And I thought, boy, that was really nice. Now, I don't know what's going to come out of this, if there's ever going to be a referral fee or whatever. But boy, they shot me something in the mail. And so then I focused on honing in those relationships. So you can't just say, oh, I want to get referrals and I'm going to just whatever. Focus on it, directly focus on it. I'm going to make it part of my 135 or my 411 that I'm going to meet another agent from out of the area this week. Every week, I'm going to make sure I'm connecting with somebody that maybe I get a lot of business from New Jersey or New York or these people. Well, why don't I start reaching out to these agents and start making a connection? I'm going to focus on that. Then maybe it becomes something else and then something else over time. Yeah. Yeah. That's what it's the care that's been put into and respecting that client and that referral. I've gotten so many referrals, or have you sent referrals out to people and you never heard anything? Boy, nothing chaps my ass more than that. Seriously, like I sent somebody down to you that in South Carolina, in wherever, and this was I told you, this is a good family member, client of mine, and I never heard squadoosh. What is that? I'm not going to refer anybody to you again. But if, yeah, Trey. There you go. But I'm just saying, what you focus on expands, but you don't need to cast a wide net. You don't. You just need to get real intentional with what's working for you. Now, what's working for me might not work for Chantel, or might not work for Robert, right? So there's that. So prospecting and marketing, lead generation, database, lead capture, offer base that gives you permission, 19 to connect, 1 to cement, 36 to convert. That's the numbers that you need to know. What does that mean? Here it is. Bless you, bless you. So you need to be communicating and stay top of mind with people. You need 36 touches every single year. That is the analytic. I didn't make it up. That's the number. We've sold enough real estate, more than anybody across the globe, to know in order for you to be remembered, you have to be in contact with your people that much. Okay, so what does that look like? 19 to connect, 4 touches, quarterly phone call, 12 touches, a monthly email, a newsletter, a market report, a video, 2 touches, promotional direct mail, such as a magnet, a calendar, a printed market report, etc. 1 touch of an annual event party, movie screening, or get together. I don't know. We sure the hell have enough events here. We built them in to work this model for you not to pay the money to have these events, but to leverage what we're doing at the office as a touch to connect with your database. Nobody's doing it just because I like loading out hay bales on a Saturday or Sunday. It's for you to generate business and to have fun and camaraderie, right? That's what it's all about. 1 to cement. You're going to need a high value touch that solidifies the relationship that you just established and opens the door for future interactions. Oh, saturate. You're 36 to convert. So you need 19 to connect. You need 36 to convert these people into, shit, I need a realtor. I'm calling Teresa Rocca. 4 touches, which will be telephone calls. So once a quarter. 26 touches, which will be a bi-weekly email offering some type of information or value to the consumer. What did that just say? That provides some type of information or value to the consumer. So not that you just listed a house, but how are you providing value to these people? Why are you the expert? And you know what? We already have this shit built into Command. You just need to plug them in there and put your name on it. Done for you, right? But that's the analytics. 2 touches, events, get-togethers, parties, 4 touches, so 1 a quarter of like a promotional direct mail, such as a calendar, a magnet, market report, etc. Okay, that's the numbers. Does everybody feel like that's doable? Yes, yes. Does it feel like you could work that into a 411 and say, okay, this is what's what, this is what I need to do. It goes, you just chunk it down to what you need to do that week. Easy. Again, lead generation model. I mean, we could print this out, or you could print it out at another time, whatever. You could take this and see, I need X amount of contacts needed to achieve my goals in my economic model. That's based off of my conversion ratio and the touches, right? So if you have 100 and some people in your database, what should that give you? $100,000 a year. If you have 105 or whatever it is people in your database and you're not making $100,000, you don't have 100 people in your database. You have 100 contacts that you're not communicating with correctly. And that's okay. Nobody's saying I did this right the first time I did it, but this is the way to do it. So your lead generation sources. So what is it currently? What are you going to do in the future? Are you going to make calls? How many calls daily? And then this is your campaigns and everything that we just did all chunked down into that page. Okay. Easy enough. Is there any questions here? Any action ahas? Any information? Nothing? we're waning, aren't we? We're dying. I didn't say it was gonna be easy. I said this, yeah. Yes. That's it.
And started really tracking on my own the last 2, 3 years, right? And I'm not Robert, and I am not the queen of spreadsheets. I literally have something a kindergartner couldn't read. And seriously, because that's not a strength, and yet, but I have something, and on Monday, when I come in on Monday mornings, plug in, right? And I don't have every single category, I'm building to it, because I have more categories than I did last year. But even if you're like, I need 18 this year, and you're plugging in how many appointments you made, how many you got under contract, how many fell apart, and how many closed at the very beginning, you just start gathering your data. And now, when I look at month to month, I'm like, oh snap, I closed this many, I'm behind. And I realize I'm behind earlier on in the thing
Yeah.
versus it's January and I'm resetting. I'm like, what just happened? I didn't hit. So put together a simple spreadsheet if you have to just for simple things, simple numbers, and then grow into it. This is drinking out of a freaking fire.
I know, this is a lot.
So don't get really just, if you can, how many conversations, how many appointments, how many signs, how many calls, whatever it is. And then you're gonna start realizing, oh, I want this data. Oh, I need this data.
You're gonna need it.
I don't know my conversion. I don't know this because I don't have this piece, and you're able to just start plugging it in. So don't get overwhelmed. Just don't.
The only way in order to build a lasting business is just to have awareness around it. And there's nothing wrong with any of these numbers. I mean, they're just numbers. So if you're a little bit down in one spot, and then that's what you just need to focus on for a bit. And that's okay. Or you know what? Maybe it's not your jam. How about that? Maybe you hate doing whatever that thing is. Right. Well, you better go find the person that's the best at doing that thing and hire them. And that's how you grow a team and you make it successful around you, by recognizing your own deficiencies and your own gaps and things that you're not willing to do.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to do a lot of stuff. But that's why there's a lot of people that are around me that are really good at those things, because not me. Jim is not doing a P&L. No. But he has Amy to do it. Now, speaking of P&Ls, because we're on that thing, your budget, your P&L. I will drop a realty exam. I know Kristen has taught the class. This is accounting software I personally use. I know Kristen uses it. Who else in the room uses realty exam? Anybody? No. What is it, $100 for the year? A year. I'm telling you, it's the best accounting program I've used personally, because it's set up for real estate. And the first year I used it, my accountant said, did you cheat on me and hire somebody else who did all this? Because it prints out these beautiful graphs and all these charts, and it's connected to my bank account. So automatically all of my transactions just show up in there, and they're already coded. So it's easy peasy. So budget, you're gonna need to budget. Because here's what happens in real estate. I think we're the only business on the planet in sales where you get a check for $20,000, $30,000. Right? And then you might get another one next week, and you might get another one in the following week. And then you know what? You don't have any closings for 3 months. And you're broke. Because you went out and you bought the Mercedes, and you bought the fancy shoes, and you got the bags, and you got the watches, and you got all the stuff. And now, well, yeah, you with your fur coat whipping in here. I hear you. I'm saying that it's a double-edged sword, because it's like you do have the potential to make over $1 million a year here. Well, what is that gonna, what are you spending? Because you could easily spend $1.5 million, right? Because once it starts coming like that, you have to plan for the future. So that's what the budget is. And you need to plan, create a budget annually, projects your expected returns and cash flow, restrain the game. That's where it is. P&L is your management tool. Some people review it weekly, some people review it bi-weekly, some people review it monthly, some people look at it one time a year. I don't recommend that. You better know where your money's going when it's coming in, because that's the part that nobody teaches you too. It's like, yeah, I'm in real estate, I'm going to go sell houses and I'm going to do all this stuff. You kind of got to be a little bit good at all this stuff, right? You got to know how to manage your funds. You got to be able to set yourself up for success in the future according to whatever your big goals are and your big plans. I just keep pointing at the board. Invest, don't spend. Practice accountability, not accounting. Profit and loss. So your profit and loss, some people use QuickBooks. Who here uses QuickBooks? Most of the people, yeah. So that would be what you would do in your P&L, and then ours does all the fancy charts, and I'm able to see where my money went throughout the year.
QuickBooks will actually set it up to send you your P&L, whatever you've decided you want that P&L to be, it'll send it to you monthly. And I use that as my trigger.
There you go. So you set up a reminder for you because you know I'm not going to go in there really. I'm not going to look at it, but you get that alert, and now, right. So now it just puts it more top of mind. That's what I'm saying. Set your systems up to work for you. You don't have to remember all this. Either you set up an email thing, or guess what? You put it on your calendar. You put it on your 411 that maybe every single month, 1 week out of that month, it's reviewed my P&L, right? How does everybody feel right now?
Good, I'm good.
Everybody okay? I see.
These things, these.
You're
charts,
tired?
Like 15 minutes. I got 15 minutes. Nothing has changed. Foundation. Yeah.
It's models.
Yeah.
They're,
You would say the same thing. These things don't change. But that's what I'm saying, like, it took me. It makes more of the activity to get. Yeah. What we're seeing, we're about halfway done with business planning, so we.
yeah.
And I think some people are like, putting on a switch, because it's like, shit, I'm gonna make 20 calls a week, and that's not, you know, and I'm just like, oh, you'd be great.
Yeah.
So like, it's one of those things of, yep, his ceiling, and we see the ceiling coming.
Yeah.
He's great, there's the ceiling in about a week.
He's going to hit the ceiling. And so now,
It's lifting up.
yeah. Yeah.
This year's not, dude.
Yeah.
You do something, so when you get. Wow, it's raining. And not every team made it through the year. You know, some are still with us. They were, some barely making it. And some days and then.
Yeah.
Just got this one. So you just go, today's a bad day.
Well, that not every day is going to be roses. That's the whole point of talking about all this stuff that I talk about in the business, in the whiteboards, in the stuff, because it's really, yeah, a lot of it's boring. And that's what success looks like.
Well, Michael Jordan,
It does. It's not on the court. That's it. That's exactly it. It's the Olympian that gets up at 3 a.m. and is running in the streets and hitting the track, and it's dark and nobody's watching. But guess what? That when those lights hit, now they get to perform and show what they've been training for. And that's what you guys, that's what this is. And we talk about it at the ALC every single week. They know their numbers with where they're going into the week. Like Amy will throw out, oh, we're down one listing, we're going to make that up or whatever. But it's that kind of awareness that could say, all right, we see a gap coming, we gotta fill it. And we're gonna get ahead of it. Instead of being reactive, we're going to craft this and to navigate around it, right? And that feels different in life. It just does. If you're constantly feeling like your back's against the wall, I gotta hustle now, I gotta hustle, man, that's no way to live.
Well, it's also switching your mentality to being proactive versus
Yeah.
reactive.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody likes being reactive victim position.
No,
And
that's where all the bad decisions get made, is when you're in that spot. You make the worst decisions of your life when you're under that kind of pressure.
you'll never make the right one. And if you make the best one, you think you can make it that moment, but 3 weeks from now, you go, man, I really shouldn't have done that.
Right. Right. And that's the whole kicker. So, here are some additional percentages that you'll get in here. Some people, it shows you what you could expect to spend on these kind of things when you hit certain metrics. Like if you're making $150,000, don't spend over $57,000 a year in expenses. I don't really know anybody that's doing that. That's crazy. So a lot of these are quite large, but that's just a recommendation through the MREA, just based off of pouring back into your business and et cetera. So this is the breaks it down into percentage wise. I'm not going to go through this because, we're glazing over. So this is the budget model that you guys will get as well in the slideshow. So you could see, here's what we need to spend on X, Y, and Z. Yes, Chris.
I just want to say, like, these things, it sounds so great. And then you look at the agency. Yeah, she knows the book, see the whole X and Jim's little book of check mark. It's like, oh crap, I'm never gonna get that way.
Yeah.
But and it's something to aspire to.
Yeah. Listen, nobody's going to be perfect with this. Like Amy, no offense, but it's like, I'm saying, like, there's a lot of analytics and metrics that they track, but it took time. It was over time. So it's like, if you just do some of these things more than you've been, you'll get there. I know it's progress over perfection. We could talk about the organization model just really quickly. I'm going to touch on it. Your first level is you. Until you master you, don't you dare hire somebody else. If you don't know how to lead generate, you don't know how to capture, convert by appointments, and you're thinking, let me just bring some people in here and build something out because I'm not going to do any of this, you better know how. You better know how. Presentations to buyers, sellers to get agreement. You're going to show buyers, marketing to sellers. You're going to write and negotiate contracts. You're coordinating sales to closing. Some of you will, most people use a TC for that. And you're managing the money. And your mindset and your vision need to be correct, because before you bring somebody on your journey, you better know where the hell you're going, because that's not fair. You're disrupting people's lives. You're having them buy into what you're doing and help you grow your business. And if you don't know where that's headed, and you know what, if you're going to change lanes at the drop of a hat because, oh, something shinier is over here that I'm going to go for and I'm going to pivot, that's not fair. You're responsible for other people now. Don't do that. Know who you are, know where you're going. Your first hire is an admin. Period. Not a buyer's agent. No, your first hire is your admin. And until you have an amazing admin, you better not hire anybody else. Your admin is going to create your blueprint of your entire business. Like my admin's first job was create the manual on how to run my team. And get this out, because that's not my strong suit. I am the idea person. I'll talk all through anything, but I'm not setting up a slideshow. Okay, not doing that. So get it out of my head, get me a manual, get all my passwords in one spot. Jesus, how about that? Let's start there. let's hire a cyberbacker that's going to do all my marketing because I don't want to spend my time on social media because it's poisoning to me. So I'd rather just hire somebody, have them do that. But so here's the deal. Your admin needs to be your right hand. That's your ride or die. And until you got the ride or die, you don't get anybody else. Okay? Because they're going to help train that next person too. And that's the leverage piece. Okay? So now you have some accountability bumped in there, not only for you, but now you need to hold somebody else accountable. Do you know how to do that the correct way? Does it look like, why didn't you do exactly what I told you to do? Or does it look like, hey, you're not hitting the goals that you set for yourself. How can I help you get to where you want to go? That's accountability, that's leadership. Nobody's looking for a manager. Don't manage people, lead them. Third level is your TC. Amy, get out of the room. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
You don't need a bar table, guys. Jim closed 70 units on his own. With
Right.
a TC and an admin. That's it. That's all you need. I would be admin. That's all you need. That's it.
Me and Cheryl, we,
35 to 40 on your own with nobody else.
yeah.
You can close 35. You can TC if you're closing 10 units a year.
So
If you're closing 20, you can do it yourself and save.
you,
And if you don't know it yet,
Yeah,
if you don't know the transaction, then really should be figuring that out first.
well, there's different schools of thought on all of this, and I'm not going to get into that right now. Okay, but I know what the MREA says. But the way I see it though too is, to me, and Amy, I get what you're saying. I'm going to say this other side of the piece and then we'll move on. But it's, if I'm not the best at managing a calendar, right? Watch this. I don't know how to put the dates on. I'm not going to go through the transaction and make sure everything is squared away. That's why I hired Cheryl to do that, because that's not my strong suit, right? So my strong suit is being in front of a client and working through the actual deal with the people. So for me, it was leverage out to,
You're profitable.
oh, I know. Well, we had TCs, we had, all kinds of stuff. But in any event, we could go through the whole thing, but this is how you build out a business. And goes you all the whole way to lead managers, outbound sales, inbound sales. As you keep growing over time, if you're growing a business, don't you want to replace yourself over time? Or are you just the end all be all of everything? Does your business stop when you do? Or do you set something up for longevity? Because some people want to step out and hire a CEO to run their business. And then that's what that all looks like underneath, but it's replacing yourself in the equation. So now I get to retire. I get to whatever, go on to my next big thing, my next big focus. But the time that I spent building what I built doesn't just go away. It now becomes a legacy. That's how you do it. You just look at the slideshow and follow the bubbles. And then there's the expansion model. So we're not going to get into the whole thing, but there you go. So there's our business planning clinic for the day. How do we all feel about everything that just happened? I know it was like a fire hose. I know it was a lot of stuff. I know a lot of people here have heard all of this previously, but maybe just give me a little bit of feedback and a couple ahas before we head out. Robert.
Question came up about commission that you use to calculate how much the income you're projecting.
Oh, yeah.
Is that your gross commission, or is it after? And the answer is it's after, because we've already calculated out all the sales and such.
Yeah, that was the net. So we already took everything out. So that was not the gross. All right, so I mean, that could change. Obviously, everybody runs their business differently, but you just plug in the numbers with what you'd like and what you think.
I'll take a look. Send all out.
I'm gonna send all this out to the whole office. They're gonna get the slideshow and then the charts. So you could play around with them if you'd like. Buy business centers, we're gonna get rid of you guys.